Okay, let's take this out here. It's right there. It's already loose. And now what we want to do is we want to look at the spark plug, see what that looks like, and it is nasty. It's oil soaked. It looks like it's shorted out. So this mower shouldn't even start anyway. But now I'm going to try to pull. Okay, I put some gas in it. I got the spark plug back on, and I attached the pull rope. And luckily, I was using my left hand because when I tried to start it, it kicked back, and that would have pulled my shoulder right out of the socket. So luckily, it was my good shoulder. And anyway, so now what we're going to have to do is take everything back off. Take the shroud with the pull start mechanism off. And underneath there where we saw the fan, we're going to have to go down into there and take the fan off and check to see if the key has been sheared that holds the fan in alignment with the drive shaft for the timing. Because when it kicks back, it just means the timing is off. So it's actually trying to fire so early that it drives the piston backwards down, and so it tries to start it going backwards. That's what makes it jerk your arm. Okay, I'm back. I got all these pieces off. I just left them dangling by the rope. If you look here, you can just leave these, just pull the tank back and stick it over the side because it's still hooked up to the carburetor with the fuel line. Then you just take the top off and place it back here. Now we're looking at the fan. This is the starter cup. We've got to take this off, and we've got a nut there that's probably 3/4 of an inch. I just want to say right now, while I've got this here, I thought this was going to be a lot easier videotaping and with one hand, and taking the stuff apart while I'm videotaping and just using one hand and holding the camera is monumental to try to do that. And I just want to tell all the YouTubers, my hat is off to you. I cannot believe that you guys can do such a good job at this with videotaping and trying to remove stuff at the same time while you're holding the camera. I'm just going to give a big plug. Donnie Boy 73 has some of the best video footage I've ever seen in my entire life, and I swear he's got 2 or 3 ghost camera people there holding the camera for him while he's working, because his videos are, I was just telling him today, his videos are unbelievably clear, and they're the finest I've seen so far on YouTube, and it's just unbelievable. Once again, the Donnie Boy 73, if you haven't seen his how-to videos on small engine repair, you're missing out. They're fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to be removing this cup. I'm going to pause so I can get some of the tools. What I'm going to do, I'll just tell you ahead of time, I'm going to spin that off with an impact, and then I'll also explain how you can do it by hand if you don't happen to have air, because I know everybody doesn't have air, but since I do have air, I'm going to take advantage of it. But I'll also show you how you can get this off. Okay, the nut, I was wrong. The nut is 15/16. I've got a 1/2-inch drive impact. This is my it's 2131 quiet Ingersoll Rand impact. I really like these because they're quiet. I can't stand all the noise of impact, so I always buy the quiet ones. So I'm just going to put this on here and spin it off. Now you see how painless that was? Now you could use, let me show you here, a flywheel or fan holder. Here's kind of a universal one right here. You can put this on here and make sure you try to find a really solid place on the flywheel so you don't break anything, because these fins are pretty delicate. And you can hold it with that while you spin it off with a breaker bar, or you know, a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. You need, or a long handle ratchet. You need some leverage there. Okay, so that's the other way. I like the fast method. So you take the nut off, There's no washer on this because the cup. Now, you can see that the keyway slot is slightly off center. So I'm going to try to hold this steady. You look at the fan, see the keyway notch is off to the left or this way from the slot in the crankshaft. Okay, see that? That is just barely off, but that's enough to throw the timing off, enough to make it try to start backwards. So it's very sensitive, so it has to be exactly perfect. All right, so I'm going to take this off now. The flywheel fan or the crankshaft. Okay, so now I'm going to take that off. What we're going to be using is a pulley, or a puller, I'm sorry. What I did is these holes right here and here are the holes you use for your puller. On a Briggs, it's two holes. They're never tapped, or I haven't seen any tapped. So instead of just trying to jam them in there, which some people do, I like to tap the hole using a 1/4 by 20 tap, and that will you know, make it nice, because then nothing pulls out or anything like that, and you can screw the 1/4 by 20 bolts right in. I'll show you over here what I use. The bolts I use for my puller are these. They're a 1/4 inch by 20. These happen to be stainless steel, but they don't have to be. I'm going to use this puller. Okay, it's got 2 bolts in it, shouldn't have. Okay, so I'm going to use this puller. This is the plunger or the piston. You want to make sure that the shaft is greased really well, because there's a lot of stress on it, so make sure you always grease it before you use it. And I tap these, and maybe just being anal, but I use, this is a really nice starting tap. It's real pointed, so it follows it right down, follows the hole, so it really does a good job of making it straight in. And then I finish up with this one, which is almost basically it's a bottoming tap, so it's got threads almost all the way to the end. So this one, the threads are at the end. The starting tap, the threads are so thin that it really doesn't cut anything. So about over 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the hole, it pretty much stops cutting the threads. Then you can take this one, run it down there, and it finishes cutting all the threads all the way to the bottom of the hole. And there's the tap handle I'm using. Okay, so now we're going to try. Okay, with this puller, I like to use washers. Okay, that spreads out the force. It also keeps if you look, the head of this bolt is barely bigger than the slot. So in order to keep it from trying to, you know, jam in that crack, first I put a 1/4 inch washer, which has a smaller outside diameter, and then I put a larger one on top of that, so it spreads it out even more. So okay, I threaded the 2 1/4 inch by 20 threads per inch bolts into those 2 holes, and I've got the plunger centered. Now all I have to do is tighten this plunger, and it will draw this fan up. I'm going to have to hold it with this tool so that it won't get away from me. Okay, just a couple of turns and it lifts right off. Okay, so now I'm going to replace the key.